Let's take a minute to look at one of my absolute favorite new features of Revit 2014. This is another documentation feature which makes it really easy to create exploded views. Have you ever tried to take apart part of your building just for clarity's sake? Maybe you were creating shop drawings or some sort of installation drawing, and you really just wanted to do something like pull the roof off of it or pull some of the walls away so that we could really see what's going on inside of the building. Well, when you're trying to create those type of views with previous versions of Revit, you end up having to duplicate the view a lot of times. Then you place them onto the sheet and you have to really sort of fuss with them to get the views to be lined up correctly. You have to move some of them on top, move some of them below. There's a lot of difficulty to it. So the good news is that in Revit 2014 they've given us a view type that is called a displaced view. Now, why didn't they just call it an exploded view? Well, probably just because Autodesk doesn't like the term exploding. If you came from an AutoCAD background, we've probably been taught not to explode blocks, not to explode dimensions and text. So really, rather than exploding the building, we're simply going to create a displaced view of it. So let me show you how straightforward and easy this process is. So what we'll do is we'll go to like a 3D view. We're going to pick on the roof. Then from the ribbon, you see over there that we have a little view panel. There's a brand new tool there called Displaced Elements. So if I click that, it now gives me a little gizmo up there that I could use to then drag along any one of those axes. So if I want to just move it up, I'll just move it on the X. As soon as I drop it, it didn't physically move it within the model. It's only within this particular 3D view that I've added a displacement. If you look over in the properties, you see that it's now part of a displacement set, and we could clearly see the X, Y, and the Z displacement. So if I wanted it to be a particular amount, of course, I could just type that in there. It's going to move it up that exact amount. Now let's go ahead and grab like maybe this wall. We'll do the same thing for it. Just click on the displace. And this one I'm going to go ahead and click on this other axis. We'll pull the control and we'll just pull the whole thing out, just like that. Now another really nice feature is when you pick on a displaced element, here in the ribbon, you see that there's the ability of either editing the displacement set, or we could reset it, or we could add these paths, which will create these projection lines to show us clearly where they were displaced from. So I could simply hover over the corners of the roof, and just that easy, it's going to create those little displacement boundaries. I'll do the same thing for the wall. Very clear, very easy. Now, what does the editing do? Well, let's go ahead and we'll pick on the roof. We'll click Edit. And here I get a little floating toolbar that I could use to add additional elements to the displacement set. So say that I wanted to displace the ceiling as well. So I'll just click it. You see that it pops up there with the same amount of displacement as the roof. Click on Finish to complete it. And now we're able to see right there inside of the building. And also notice that we're able to manipulate the 3D view without the displacement or even the projection lines disappearing. So it's a night and day difference over how we used to do it before. Makes our lives a lot easier. I know you're going to get a lot of use out of displaced views.